Welcome to this week's episode of Real Talk. I really cannot tell you how excited I am about today's guests. They are so much fun because there are two of them. Antonella and Luisa will be speaking to us today. They're Italian and did their exchange years in the UK, the class of 2015, and have had quite an adventure since. You're gonna have a lot of fun talking to them, I promise you. It's also, again, a super bright day in Boston, so we're gonna have the shades down just so that you guys can see this Real Talk and really hear the stories. But the skyline's still out there. We'll be right back with the interview with Antonella and Luisa. Welcome to this week's episode of Real Talk. No, you are not seeing double. We are super excited for our first set of twins. Antonella and Luisa did their exchange year in 2015 in the UK, and they're both joining us from very different places, which we'll talk about later. One in Milan and one from Spain. Hi, girls. It's been far too long. Aren't they so cute? But it's amazing. You guys have been home for 3 years, but over 4 years ago, you had to think about, okay, it's time for me to go on exchange. How did you find out about that? Was it your idea? Was it someone else's?
Our mom is the one who pushed for it. We didn't want to go at the beginning because we had a very, very particular bond with our dance class. We followed it for like 6 years or something like this. And we didn't want to leave because I don't know, it's very, very strange to think about it now, because if we didn't do it, she pushed very, very much. And after the first interview, we were very, very into it, but we didn't want to leave at the beginning. After this too. And our dance teacher did a very good part as well. She pushed more, and that's it. We were off.
Wow. So Luisa, it was your mom's idea to send both of you at the same time.
Yeah, because she knew a man who was sending his kid with EF to the US. So he was, yeah, why don't you send your kids to it? And then she tried to convince us, and then we were looking for a lot of companies, but then EF looked like the more reliable one. So we did the selection, and it was
selection.
Passed the selection, and then we didn't want to go because of a dance class, and our mates or people with us in the dance class were, yeah, you have to go. It's gonna be great. You have to go another dance class, and you will do a lot of things.
That's amazing. That was such a British moment too. You just called them mates to sort of expose the world that you did in fact go to the UK, not the US.
Not the US.
Why the UK instead of the US or Ireland?
Actually, we did the application pretty far, like end of April. So we couldn't go to the US, but we preferred UK to Ireland, and it was pretty closer. Our mom could come visit. Our friends could come visit, we could come back home, and that's what we did actually. And our mom came to visit both of our families and our friends as well, so that was good. That was very, very good.
So you didn't want to go, and your dance class actually was a big help of getting you there, and you find yourselves in the UK, and out of the entire country, you guys actually end up in next door towns, right? Like neighboring, which I'm sure is super confusing, like the two of you walking around the UK in towns next to each other. But very different experiences, right? Like you lived, what did you say, 14 kilometers from each other? And your schools were...
14.
Which is wild. And your schools were so different. So Luisa, what was your school experience like on your exchange?
Okay, my school was half private school. So it was a public school, but financed by some private owners. So there was having a pretty strict selection to enter. There was a queue of 2 years to enter. It was crazy. So it was there were a lot of rules, like the dress code was super strict. I couldn't wear trousers. It destroyed everything because I didn't wear any skirt or any dress, so I had to buy everything new on my first day. And it was kind of stressful, but it was good. There were a lot of weird classes, like film studies or just like practical art, or I don't know. The Spanish class was made out of 8 people, so you could speak with the native speaker. And I learned a language in a year. I learned 2 languages in a year, English and Spanish. Yes, and well, it was a very it was good. I think it wasn't much friendly. People weren't too much friendly. So I say a lot of the other exchange students, which half of them were in my house, like from my house, because I had other 3 students living with me. But it was good. I liked it.
But you didn't have as like, so Luisa, your school was private and you had to like wear certain uniforms, but Anto, was your school like more open? Did you have to wear uniforms?
No uniform. There was a dress code. It wasn't strict as Luisa's. We could wear trousers, no leggings or jeans. But yeah, there was somebody who was like wearing jacket and all dressed up all day, all every day. But the others were more calm. Also, the teachers were way more friendly than the ones I had in Italy. Like,
No, of course. But that's not because you're school.
others during like free periods or something. Not during the class because they were Miss and Mister, but during the free periods, all names. The teacher with the students and the student with the teacher. That was crazy.
Because that would never happen in Italy, right? Because you guys have like the room that the teachers are in and they never speak to the students outside of class time.
Exactly.
But it's far more, yeah, like you said, friendly.
Far more friendly. Way more friendly.
And what about your classes? Did you have any sort of unique classes or experiences like Luisa had with Spanish?
Oh yes, I did drama. In England you can choose only 4 classes. I choose English, literature, philosophy because I had it in Italy as well. I tried biology, but it was too difficult at the beginning, so I chose drama, and I liked it so much. And at the end of the year, I had to play a part. It was amazing, and never, ever did drama before, and I loved it.
And it was all in English. You were like in a show in English.
Yes, with other English students. There were other strangers as well, but most of them were English, so it was great.
How did you guys feel when you got there though? Because obviously Italy's not super well known for people being fluent in English, and then you show up in your British homes and you go to your British schools, and it's the first time you hadn't shared a space or lived together in your life. What was it like living in English in different towns?
The first day in our host families for me was scary in a way, because well, in England, when you get to England, you have the welcome days with EF. So you have like 2 nights, 3 days spent in a campus in Winchester with all the people going to exchange in England, and it was all right, kind of fun. We met a lot of people that were going to work in the area. I met my future sisters. But then when you get there in the house, you are with an Austrian girl and a Danish girl who already are fluent in English. And your host mom from Ireland, who is like super quiet and wants you to feel home, but it still speaks super fast. I was just silent.
Yeah, me too. At the beginning, me too. My host mom saw I couldn't speak for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, it takes courage to just try, because even if you're bad, you have to just like start talking. Otherwise, you'll.
You never know how much it is important to be surrounded by people who only speak the language you are going to learn. You don't know it until you do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you learned a second/third language, Luisa, because your Spanish class was only in Spanish and like just like pure immersion. But obviously you guys learned English, and it was a huge sort of change in your life to live apart.
Oh, totally.
You did see each other though, right? Like it's not like you went a whole year, you were 14 kilometers apart. So you guys met up from time to time. What did you do when you would see each other?
Actually, most of the time go to London because we're like 15 minutes away from it. We just took a train and went to London, and mostly that.
Yeah, or Peterborough, or Cambridge. We started to get direction to tourists at the end of the year. We knew the places so well.
Yeah.
You were pretty much locals, but I mean, the thing I love so much about you guys is you're always on the move. Like, I feel like I look on Instagram and you've gone somewhere new, and didn't you guys do like a Euro trip on the trains recently?
Yes. We actually we did it last year. We did Interrail. We did 5 countries, and this year we did 8 cities, 9 cities. I don't even remember.
It's wild. And you
Yeah.
you brought another exchange student with you. That's what I so love about the Italian ambassador group. The tribe of you guys is there's a student who went to the US who you just sort of brought into the group with you and
Yes,
took traveling.
Emma, of course.
So Emma, if you're listening, they say
I'm
hello.
here in 2 days. Oh,
That's
you're
fantastic.
coming here to the office.
So Luisa, you're actually in the Milan office, and I think that you guys came home from the UK and immediately got involved, and that's how we all first met. But so what are you doing in the office on a Thursday afternoon?
Well, actually, I came here because I needed to do this call because I'm here in Milan to give the last exams and to write my thesis. So I'm finishing my university degree. So I needed a Wi-Fi, and the office is like my my fourth home. So obviously, I came here. And we're doing an event in 2 days, so there are things to do in the office. I'm always here when they need a hand or anything.
It's true, you are always there. Anytime I've been there, you've kind of just like popped in, which is so nice. But if you can't tell by looking, you guys are in very different places. So you're in the Milan office, and Antonella, you're actually in Spain. Why are you not in Italy right now?
Well, because before I take my last exams, I decided to take a year in Spain within the Erasmus program. I don't know if it's known in US or no. Yes, it should be.
No, it's super European, but yes, yeah.
Perfect. It's like an exchange, but when you're in university, you go for a year or a semester in another city or in another country and do the exams there, basically. And I'm doing this in Spain for 1 year.
And what does your mom think now? This is your first time that you two have actually done separate, like totally moved.
This is the third.
Oh, it's the third time I'm wrong. Okay. Well, what was the first time?
The first time was when we were in England, which was like kind of separate. Then the first year I was in Milan, Antonella was still in Sardinia. Then last year I was in Hungary for a year, Antonella was in Milan.
So have you asked your mom like what she thinks about having given you this idea when you guys were teenagers? Because now you're like everywhere.
She said it the other day because I was in Sardinia for a month in September, October. She said, when I first gave you the idea to go abroad, you were super scared, and now you don't even want to come home.
That's amazing. So I guess, I mean, we maybe know the answer to this, but we'll ask each of you, if you could say something to the younger version of you, right? The younger you who was in this dance class in Sardinia, what would you say, knowing what you know over the last 3 years of being home?
Don't be scared.
Totally, go now, go far, go, go.
I'm sure your mom's gonna watch this and be like, that was my idea. Yes. That's fantastic. And I think it's just been so great to watch you guys always talk about your exchange story and then adding chapters to it, because, you know, I've been at information meetings when you've talked to parents, and you don't just talk about your exchange, you talk about sort of the way you see the world, and it continues to grow every single experience, whether you're in Hungary or Spain or, I don't know, like I said, I have to like look on Instagram to see where you are in the world, because you guys are always on the move. But thank you so much for sharing your stories, and especially because you're in such different places and so busy. I think it's awesome. You are the first twins on Real Talk, which I think is super exciting. It's so great. But if any of you have questions for the girls, for Antonella or Luisa, if you're nervous about going, or if it's an idea that's come from your parents, you can ask them. We'll put their information below. And anything else about the UK? I mean, I think you guys are like half British at this point, so I'm sure you have Lots of fun things to
With
say.
accent, but yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, now you're like British and, you know, the Spanish and Italian and everything that is your world. But thank you, girls, so much for joining us today. I know a lot of people are probably excited to ask you more questions. But we will be with you next week with another episode of Real Talk.